Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Huber begins now.
Good evening. A Tasmanian medical orderly has spoken out about the frequent violent abuse staff face in Tasmanian hospitals. The government has agreed to raise their pay in recognition of the dangers they face on the job, stopping strike action in its tracks as a result.
Working as a medical orderly for 31 years, Dean Clark says the level of violence inside the state's hospitals has skyrocketed, with as many as 17 code blacks per shift.
I put a form in 20 years ago and they put around the hospital to ask what you think is going to happen in code blacks, and I put on my form, someone's going to die, and I still do believe that.
The recent doctor stabbing at the Northwest Regional Hospital hitting close to home for Dean.
It was probably 2 years ago, a bloke tried to stab me with a pair of scissors.
The Health and Community Services Union has spent 4 months fighting for improved employee recognition, threatening to take industrial action from midday as a final resort.
Members had designed the action to have maximum impact on the revenue of the government and inconvenience management.
The planned strikes canned after the Health Department came to the table with a new deal just this morning, stating it's committed to reclassifying the roles of orderlies and attendants.
This will mean that they'll be being paid and recognised for the huge responsibility they have.
It's absolutely a top priority for our government to keep people safe, including in our hospitals.
While today's decision is a win for medical orderlies, they say it's still not enough and are calling for appropriate training to deal with life-threatening situations. A timely reminder for all hospital patients to treat staff with the respect they deserve. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
There's been an official shake-up within the Tasmanian Greens party, with Rosalie Woodruff confirmed as the new leader. The move made permanent today, with Vicar Bailey winning the recount and elected as the latest member for Clark. Both positions were made vacant following the resignation of long-term leader Cassie O'Connor last month.
It will be different, but overwhelmingly my commitment is to be positive, is to be constructive and is to be proactive.
It's very clear from the Clark recount that there's very great strength and breadth amongst the Tasmanian Greens, and we're really excited.
The duo promising they're up for the task ahead, committing to push for action when Parliament returns next week. Thousands of solar panels have been placed on King Island's Huxley Hill, with the state government planning on more energy-saving tactics in the future. The multi-million-dollar project's one of many sites visited as part of regional cabinet.
Having harnessed the ample wind that batters the shoreline, King Island's now putting the sun to work.
To provide 65% of the energy here on King Island being renewable. Sometimes it's up to 100%, depending on the weather, depending on the wind.
5,000 solar panels placed at Huxley Hill as part of a $3 million project.
It's definitely had its logistical challenges, and also being located on the island itself and getting everything has been challenging.
These panels reducing the island's diesel dependency in the hope of shaking it entirely one day.
I'd be foreseeing at least 5 years, but it comes down to economics and the value that we can make stack up from all of the mix of technologies that are available.
Wind turbine refurbishment and battery investment, the next frontiers.
When the solar farm is switched on in October, it'll produce 1.5 megawatts of power. That'll save 300,000 litres of diesel every year.
The state government's regional cabinet has taken them to King Island for the first time.
Engaging with them on a number of key issues concerning the island, and also opportunities as well.
Touring regional health facilities and tasting treats from the district school. The visit getting the thumbs up from locals. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
The son of Mark Chopraid has pleaded not guilty to a string of charges, including drug use, disqualified driving, stealing and possession of a firearm. Charles Reid is currently in custody, facing the Magistrates Court this morning. He did not apply for bail and is expected to reappear in September. Quick-thinking bystanders have rushed to a man's aid following a truck rollover off the Midland Highway in Launceston. The driver managed to escape with just minor injuries after the truck tipped onto its side on the Kings Meadows link shortly after midday.
As he's come down the off-ramp, he's lost control, presumably due to the speed he's been travelling, and he's rolled off the roadway and put the truck onto the side.
The man was trapped inside the truck for a short period of time before he was eventually freed and taken to hospital. Motorists were advised to seek alternative routes, with a crane called in to right the tipped-over truck. Thousands of residents were left in the dark with 15,000 power outages statewide due to Monday night's destructive winds. The SES attended to 46 requests for assistance. Almost half of those were in the south, while 19 were in the northwest of the state. While windy conditions have eased slightly, people are being urged to remain vigilant and prepared for future wild weather. Campaign group Yes 23 have touched down in Tasmania to commence 3 events aimed at securing an affirmative vote in the Voice to Parliament referendum. But it's been met with continued criticism as some Aboriginal groups call for alternatives.
Sharing stories and songs with the younger generation. The Yes 23 group kicked off their campaign at Laprina to coincide with Children's Day celebrations before door-knocking through Hobart and in Huonville. The group calling for a yes vote in the referendum.
It's got to be practical. It's got to be through that voice to Parliament. So understand firstly that it's come from Indigenous peoples. This isn't the Prime Minister's proposal.
Hoping to inform the next generation and those undecided.
They know that this is important for their futures. And the young people are actually really important also, to talk to their parents and some of the older people in their families to help bring them across the line.
More than 500 volunteers have registered for the campaign, but some groups continue to voice a strong no.
We as Aboriginal people have never ceded our sovereignty, which means that we have a right to make decisions about issues that affect Aboriginal people.
Instead, calling for the federal government to support Aboriginal people through a treaty and more seats at the table.
A treaty would look at returning lands to Aboriginal people, an economic base for Aboriginal people, and dealing with the real issues that Aboriginal people have been fighting for 220 years.
The referendum could be held as early as next month. Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmanian News.
And the wait is over for BMX fans across southern Tasmania as the build on Sorell's new racing track finally speeds off at the Southeast Sports Complex.
And now that we have such fantastic sporting fixtures here at Pembroke, this will add to that and allow more people to come out and enjoy the relaxed atmosphere out here in Sorell.
The $1 million facility is hoped to bring more BMX events to the area, given it's the only national competition standard facility in the south.
It's going to have a polymer surface which allows us to race in better conditions. So we currently have a dirt track, so the new surface will mean that if it's rainy or wet weather, we've got a better chance of still being able to ride.
There are 3 tracks already across the state, with this one set to be complete by November. Tasmanians are being urged to dig up the history behind their family heirlooms as a popular museum series returns for a second year. The Curator in the Pub series is expanding after a bumper first edition, with more events across 2 Launceston venues. This year's program kicks off on Thursday with experts sorting participants' gems from junk.
We're not going to be able to tell anybody what they're worth because we're not Antiques Roadshow. But we are going to be able to tell people something about the items.
Pub trivia is also on the cards, as well as a session of the history of skulls in art.
When I was asked to kind of think about a topic that we could talk about in this kind of environment, that just felt like it was going to be one that everyone would be kind of interested and intrigued with.
The free events will be held across Duquesne Brewery and the Kingsway Bar throughout the month. 3 young and emerging musicians are beaming from ear to ear after receiving the prestigious 2024 Clarence Jazz Festival Scholarship. Now, in its 14th year, the program offers a host of benefits from free tuition to mentorship sessions and performance opportunities.
Feeling very happy to receive the scholarship this year. Really looking forward to being part of the bands and playing heaps.
The Jazz Festival is Tasmania's largest council-run music event and will take place next February. Tasmania's budding musicians are taking their artistic skills from the street to the stage, all for a good cause. The new fundraising event giving a voice to Hobart locals struggling with housing stress.
T-Tanny is the latest rapping sensation, hoping to take Hobart by storm.
I put my feet on the ground, my hands in the air, look up, look out to the skies.
That was my way of expressing what I had on the inside.
Lending his talents to a new show, giving a stage to those suffering in Hobart's housing crisis.
To be able to share my message that I've got to other people, is a big blessing.
Everybody deserves to have a voice, and I think no matter what their message are, everybody deserves to be heard and to be respected.
The Street to Stage concert raising vital funds for some of the community's most vulnerable.
It's a worsening problem. We've got people sleeping on the streets, we've got people sleeping in shrubs.
Helping to break down health barriers and alleviate the struggle to access a GP.
Healthcare is a basis of being able to be okay. There are situations where people are dying for lack of healthcare in Hobart. That's dreadful.
The anticipation now building for Saturday's spectacular.
People can't wait. Look, they're all excited. They're like just pushing to get onto stage.
While many artists will step up to the mic for the first time at Simple Cider, the event is offering a standout star $1,000 to record their best work.
A little bit of nerves, but more excited than anything.
Victoria Easto, 7 Tasmanian News.
Teammates will turn against each other in this weekend's State Club Hockey Finals. Diamondbacks regular Lucy Cooper will line up for the northern team she splits her time with, the Queechee Penguins, when the sides meet in their cup match this weekend. The Southerners will be hungry to progress in the statewide tournament, which they've never won.
I think it's a good change up of the season. I think it's good to sort of have those home and away games and play up north.
The men will be solely focused on beating University to stay in the Premier League's finals picture and give goalkeeper Grant Woodcock the ideal send-off.
It's sort of got me a little bit excited, and it would be fantastic to go out on a high of winning a premiership.
Diamondbacks have the best defence in the league, but admit they need more composure in front of goal. He overcame concussions and a test of patience, but tonight Tasmania's Jacob Richards is the toast of the Jack Jumpers. He's graduated from court cleaner to development player, and the cameras are rolling when he shared the news with his mum. His mum on the line to share the news he'll be shooting from the three-point line.
They signed me as a development player.
A promotion for Jacob Richards to join his Idols ranks.
When they came in, this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to play for the Tasmanian Jack Jumpers.
The coach was emotional as well.
He came here just asking for a chance.
Starting from the bottom.
He had the towel on his shoulder, he was wiping the floor every quarter, he was really supportive of his teammates.
Now he's on the development player list.
You exemplify everything this place is about. We're going to give you a full DP spot. Congratulations.
2 years of crawling over barbed wire paid off.
Tough couple of years, tore my meniscus, 2 concussions in a row, but I got back in the gym, got my body right.
Now he'll get his mind right, being mentored by Jared Bairstow, who shared court time with Richards at the Hobart Chargers.
If I get called up, it's my job to be ready.
A call which can come at any time.
I cried a bit.
Did you?
Yeah.
Very proud of you, Kobe. You worked hard.
More of that hard work to come. Yeah, great result. And Devonport's snooker shark Wayne Stubbs has another title to his name. The veteran cubist found himself, well, behind the 8 ball for most of the final at Melbourne's Pocket Sports Challenger Championship. He fought back to bring the decider to a 6-ball shootout and held his nerve to pocket the prize. He's hoping to face the top Pro Series players at the series finale in a few weeks' time. And let's hope he gets there, Lou.
Let's hope he does. Thank you for that, Tom.
Good evening. Well, another windy night last night and a cool start today for most of Tasmania. Hobart, a high of 12. Launceston and St Helens our top, 16. Devonport 14 and Burnie 13 degrees. King Island 14 today. Flinders Island, Smithton, Lowhead and Friendly Beaches all 13. Bushy Park and Strawn 12. Sunny conditions started to appear today. However, cloud did stick a bit over the west and south of the state. Just a patch or two of cloud over central Western Australia. Most of the country free of cloud. cloud, a little low-level cloud over the southeast of the country. Tomorrow we have a large high positioned to our northeast, dominating most of the nation, and with that cold front there to the west, we'll have a pretty consistent northwesterly airstream over us. And those winds will blow to 30 knots, with stronger winds over southern waters, nothing like what happened at 4:15 yesterday afternoon, when Penny and Michael, the custodians of Matsyker Island, measured wind gusts of 200 kilometres an hour, and there they were, bending over backwards to get that information to us. And that's a fact. We still have a strong wind warning there. That's over the southwest coast from Southeast Cape all the way up to Stanley and from St Helens Point to Tasman Island. A minor flood warning for the North Esk River. Into tomorrow we go. Hobart, a mostly sunny 16, 15 for Geefston, a morning frost for Bothwell, warming up to 14 later. Launceston 13 and cloudy, same for Devonport. A chance of a shower though, becoming windy for Cressy after a cold start. Burnie tomorrow, a high of 13 and a possible shower. Strawn cloudy 14. Curry on King Island 15 degrees. St Helens tomorrow, a high of 15. Partly cloudy as well for Swansea. A sunny day for Orford, also 15. A few showers over elevated parts of the north on Thursday, otherwise fine and partly cloudy. That big old cold front should be setting up some wet weather for Friday with rain and showers statewide. And on Saturday, a cool day with showers for Hobart, Strawn and the Bass Strait Islands. Rain in Perth and 18. Fine and sunny for Adelaide, partly cloudy but fine in Melbourne, Canberra and Sydney. Possible showers over Brisbane. And conditions a bit more stable this evening with 8 degrees right now in Hobart, Launceston and Devonport. And Louise, that's the weather for the first day of August. So it's a very happy birthday to all the horses, yeah.
Oh, please, I can't believe you're back. You've just done it again. Thank you so much, Murph. That's all your news for this Tuesday night. I'll be back later on with updates without Murph. Thank you for joining us. Good night.